evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm sorry for the delay. You're waiting for a few families to come in due to traffic. I'd like to welcome you all to the High School Diplomats Parents Meeting and the US HSD High School Diplomats Meeting. Thank you guys so much for coming today. We're so happy to have you, and we're very much excited to have you all with us this summer at Princeton and in Japan, respectively. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Ross, and I'm the Council Director for the program this summer. And to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about what High School Diplomats is. HSD, High School Diplomats, is a nonprofit organization that works to bridge cultural gaps between Japanese and American students. Hundreds of American and Japanese students apply every single year to this program, and 40 are selected from each country to come to Princeton University for 10 days. Over the course of the 10 days, students engage in various cultural activities to learn more about one another's cultures, and I think everyone on staff can safely say that it's one of the best 10 days of your lives. It truly is remarkable how much you learn about yourself and another culture in such a short amount of time. Following the program, American students qualify to apply for the US High School Diplomats program, where we provide full scholarships for 20 American students to travel to Japan for 3 weeks. And if you look to your right, we have 3 students that did High School Diplomats last year who are going to Japan on a full scholarship this summer. So congratulations, you guys. This program takes place at Princeton University and is nationally recognized. And so congratulations to you all for being accepted. It's an amazing, amazing program. I can't tell you enough how lucky you are to be a part of it. And we are so lucky to be able to work with you all this summer. The way that Princeton is broken down, after we select the 40 American students, we are broken down into 2 programs. You're going to hear this HSD vocabulary throughout tonight. J1 and J2, which is Japan 1 and Japan 2. You want to rep your programs hard. This is simply an organizational method that we use to divide the students, and it really becomes your family over the course of the 10 days in the program. I was a J2 student. I bleed J2, and everyone on staff has their respected J programs that they rep. So. We're very excited for you guys to start repping your J programs. Over the course of tonight, you're going to hear from all of us a little bit about the various elements of the High School Diplomats program, learning more logistics, and at the end of this evening, we're more than happy to answer any of your questions that you have regarding the program. Now, we will do staff introductions. Like I said, my name is Michelle Ross. I'm the Council Director this summer. I'm a senior at New York University, and I'm majoring in directing with a minor in arts and public policy.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom Tashi. I'm the Assistant Director. I'm a very recent graduate of Princeton University, where I majored in Public and International Affairs with a certificate in East Asian Studies. And I'll be returning to Princeton this fall to begin graduate work in economics. I've worn a number of hats with the program, first as a student, obviously, then as a counselor, and I'm very excited to be coming back this year as Assistant Director. I recognize a couple familiar faces from interviews, and I'm excited to meet the rest of you this evening.
When Tom says recent graduate, he graduated yesterday. This meeting tonight, so thank you, Tom. We appreciate it. And thank you, Michelle, for your opening the meeting. My name is Celine Zapolsky. I'm the American Director. And just on a personal note, I live right here in the Fairfax area, and I have 2 children who have both been students with HSD, and both went to Japan, and both worked for, one currently works for the program, and my daughter worked for years as a counselor. So we have a long, rich history with HSD, and we're so excited to welcome all of you tonight. One thing I do want to say before I move on in the introductions is while I work in the office doing the logistics, these counselors are really the heart and soul of the program, and I think the students that were at Princeton last summer can attest to that. And all of these counselors were at one time sitting in these chairs attending the parent meeting. And all of them went to Japan. We truly hire from within. So don't be shy about asking them questions. They've all been in your shoes. They were all excited like you were. They all had apprehensions like you may have. So please use this opportunity tonight to ask them any question, however random, and they'll be more than excited to answer your questions. And we'll do that.
Great, yeah. So, hi guys, my name is Philip Monk. I am going to be a fourth year at the University of Virginia. I'm studying cello performance and cognitive science, and is that all I have to say? Oh, and I'm a counselor and homestay coordinator. So I'll be having a spiel later on about homestaying, and so get ready for that. It's gonna be good.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Polsky. She's my mother. I'll be a rising sophomore this year at James Madison University. I'm majoring in economics, and I will be working as the classroom coordinator this year at Princeton.
Hi everybody, I'm Olivia Till, and I'm a rising freshman at the University of Notre Dame, and I'm tentatively studying political science with a focus on international relations, and I'm a counselor for J2 this year.
Hi, my name is Juwan Choi. I'm a special events coordinator for HSD this summer, which means I'll be organizing and executing the events that are going to be happening at Princeton. I'm a rising junior at Williams College in Massachusetts. I am a psychology major with a minor in public health. I'm currently pre-med, so hopefully will one day become a doctor. And this is my third year with the program, and I'm so excited to meet all you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Tharanshna Warrior. I am the J1 program manager this year. I'm a rising senior at the University of Kentucky. I'm also a pre-med student and a chemistry major. And this is my third year on staff, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you, and I think it's going to be a great summer.
Hello, I'm Isaac Buckley. I'm going to be the J2 program manager this summer at Princeton. I'm a rising third year at the University of Virginia, where I'm studying government and English, and it's my fifth year with the program, third year on staff. And I can't wait to meet all of you and get to know you.
Hi everyone, my name is John Simo. I'm the program manager for USHSD this year, and I just want to say, even though me and Destiny will be in Japan, I know a lot of you from interviews, and it's really full circle. A lot of us ourselves sat in this very room, 5-4 years ago, just as students, so we can't begin to express to you like the journey you're about to go through. But we're really excited to get to know you, and for USHSD, we can't wait.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Destiny Levere, and I am USHSD counselor this year. I'm now a rising sophomore at the University of Richmond, double majoring in political science and international relations with a double minor in pre-law and foreign linguistics. And I know that's too much, right? That's my whole resume. And I'm really, really excited. This is my second year on staff, and like everyone else, I've been in this situation. So please be so, so excited. I'm excited for you all. And although, HSD, USHSD, we're going to rock out this summer in Japan. So, I'm looking forward to it.
I hope you guys have already kind of gotten a glimpse of how much excitement, energy, and overall fun HSD is. While HSD is fun, and I think that's the first word I'd use to characterize it, there are also some rules. And it's important that you guys understand those. Not because we think you guys are rule breakers. On the contrary, we selected you because we know you're good, outstanding kids. But all the same, we want to be clear that these rules are communicated to you so that going forward, you can have all of the fun that this program offers within its guidelines. So a lot of these should go without saying. Obviously, all of you are under 18, so the consumption or possession of alcohol, tobacco products, any contraband materials in any form is strictly prohibited. Again, you are a high school diplomat, you're an ambassador, you're going to inform this Japanese student's understanding of America. We want you to put your best foot forward. First and foremost, that means obeying the laws of the states of Virginia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Now, that being said, as you'll see with Rule 2, intentionally bringing these objects, these items, and exposing your student to them is altogether unforgivable. But do take care when you're packing that these things don't unintentionally, haphazardly get included in your luggage. That is to say, make sure if you do have any prescription medication, it's adequately labeled. If you don't bring pocket knives, alcohol, or drugs of any kind. And I know there are some gray areas here, so if you have any uncertainty, again, The staff is very forthcoming, very willing to work with you, and very accessible. So just reach out and ask us if you're unsure about a particular item. The third rule here is actually very important, and that is no cell phones, and that's during the program. Now, every year, especially with students coming from out of state, parents express the quite legitimate concern, how do I keep in touch with my student, make sure they've arrived safely? We encourage you guys to bring your phones with you when you come to the drop-off at George Marshall High School. You can have your phones up until we get to Princeton, but the first night of American orientation, we will collect the programs. As I said, HSD is all about fun, so we don't create this rule because we want to deprive you of your phone. We do it because we've done this program. We've seen how it works. It's about the roommate relationship, and if you're constantly texting people from back home or calling your family every night, you're not going to be able to pour 110% into that roommate relationship. Your Japanese roommates are not going to have their phones, so make the same commitment as them. Show that you're into it. Don't bring your phone with you. Again, we haven't had a problem with this in recent years, but it is important that you understand. We're not just doing it because we're mean. We do it because it really does make the program work. This goes for, again, technology is constantly changing. Anything that can connect to the internet. This program is only 10 days long. We're asking you to go on a 10-day withdrawal from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram, whatever it is you kids these days are using. Again, this is not just because we're mean. It's very deliberate. We found that in order to really engage in this program in the way we want, we can't have you glued to your tablet, your Android, your iPhone, what be it. That being said, music is important. It's a big part of my life. It's a big part of all our lives, and it's probably a big part of your life. And it's something that you can share with your roommates. So we encourage you, if you have, an iPod, they even make those anymore, an MP3 player, something that, a CD even you can burn and bring, that, you're more than encouraged to. It's not, we don't live in the Stone Age. We're not trying to harken back to the 1800s and our aversion to electronic devices. It's really, we want to make sure that you're able to share everything with your roommate and only with your roommates. Rule number 5, kind of carrying on that role of the ambassador, put your best foot forward. That includes obviously not exposing your roommate to bad material substances, but also when you're interacting with not just your roommate, but with the other Americans, put your best foot forward, use proper English. And that is to say, refrain from using profanity or any other inappropriate words. Now the 6th rule is also very important. This is a staff that's, for the most part, college students. We're young, we're close to you guys, and we think that's really important. We can relate to you. That being said, we take this program very seriously, and we take the rules very seriously, and we have a busy schedule every day. Every day is going to be packed with program activities, as Juwan's going to explain later. And it's very important that you guys follow the instructions of your staff members. We are 100% committed to making sure you guys have an incredible 10 days this summer. But to make sure that that happens, we need you guys to meet us halfway. Pay attention, be alert, even when it's hot, even when you're tired, even when your roommate's insisting on going off and not doing what we're saying. Be on our side, guys. Put your best foot forward, not only with the students, with the staff members too. Rule number 7 is also very important. We'll be at Princeton. It's a very safe campus, trust me, a little too safe. It's suburban New Jersey. It's absolutely beautiful. So there's so many things to do on campus. There's no reason you should leave. And you're not allowed to, so it's that's the case. You shouldn't be going anywhere really without a staff member, without your roommate in the first instance, but more importantly, without a staff member. Again, not that the surrounding area is dangerous, but we don't want you to get lost. And again, every day is so busy, if you stray from the pack, you'll get left behind. So make sure that you're always listening to the staff members and not wandering off into the town of Princeton. We will give you a free day to go off and explore, within reasonable boundaries. But for the most part, we're going to keep you on campus in activities. And again, 8 is this is something we looked for when we were interviewing you, when we were reading your applications. We picked you because we think you are respectful of cultural differences, that you're interested in learning about a different culture. We ask that when you're interacting with your Japanese roommate, you throw out maybe your impulsive reaction to say, that's weird, why would I do that? Or, gee, that's strange. On the contrary, when you see something, when you feel that reaction in you, that's a trigger for you to say, I can actually learn something from this. Maybe I'll try doing something a little differently. Maybe I'll wake up every morning and be enthusiastic about these strange radio kinesthetics that we're asking you to do. eat with chopsticks. As we say in the program, drink the sauce. So don't ask questions, throw yourself into the culture. Believe me, you'll get everything you put in out and more. And lastly, this goes without saying, we started off with the rules and the laws of the state of New Jersey and the United States of America. We expect you to follow those, as I'm sure your parents do, wherever you go.
So safety, that's something that's incredibly important to us, the safety of the students and staff and everyone involved in the program. So everyone on staff is CPR certified, and at all times we carry various medical instruments to help us in the case of an emergency during the program. This includes first aid kits, a list of all the students' allergies and medicine and medications. We all carry cell phones to communicate with one another, and we also have a list of addresses and contact information of all the local hospitals in the area. We also have a staff vehicle that we use to escort students to the hospital in the case of a medical emergency. The way that we communicate with parents over the course of the 10 days is two methods. We have an emergency phone tree, which Tom will talk about shortly, and we also have an HSD blog, which is something that we've recently started, and we do blog posts every single day over the course of the 10 days of the program. And the posts kind of highlight a variety of things, from the kind of highlights of the day, program activities that we do. We post pictures of the kids in all their fun costumes, and we also post any information that's pertinent to parents about any emergencies in an unlikely case of one. Something that we'll further discuss with the students at your American orientation on your first day of Princeton is more of the logistics of the Princeton campus, getting the students acquainted and being aware of your surroundings. That's something that's really important to us, is making sure that all the students are aware of the space that they're in. Something that we also are prepared for is that in the case of a fire, we have fire drills and safety plans that we as staff work on before the Princeton program, and we are prepared to do fire drills at any point over the course of the 10 days at Princeton. The last thing, and this is something that we talked about in the rules of conduct, is respecting the staff, and especially in the case of an emergency, we ask that your cooperation is with us at all times, and we will do our best to facilitate any sort of situation that arises over the course of the 10 days. If you have any questions regarding this issue, obviously any of us can further answer your questions. And now we're going to talk about the emergency phone tree.
So the next 2 pages, as you'll see, are the phone trees broken down by program. Of course, these are things we hope never to have to use, but in the event of an emergency, again, getting in touch with you guys and letting you know the status of your child is our #1 priority. So the way it works is pretty simple. You'll see each family should look. If you're in J1, you'll be in the J1 phone tree, J2 the same, and verify that your name, more importantly, your number is correct. If there is an emergency and we need to communicate to HSD families, we will start at the top, Celine and Michelle, calling the first 2 families, delivering the message. Ideally, they would get in touch with those families. They would then relay the message to the people directly below them. Now, in the event that you call a family and you're unable to get a hold of anyone, we ask that you leave a message and keep delivering to the next family down on the list until you actually get a hold of someone and relay that message. Again, this is for emergencies only, but this is a surefire way to make sure that our message gets across. For those of you families that are at the very bottom, you'll then call either Celine or Michelle, whoever's at the top of your tree, to let them know that the message has in fact been delivered to everyone in the phone tree. I'd like to say a little more about the blog too, which, as Michelle said, is something we've just started. Now, the primary purpose of the blog has nothing to do with emergency situations. As Michelle said, we'll update it daily with fun pictures. You'll see the costumes, the activities, date night pictures, all that stuff. We understand you guys won't be able to talk to your kids because we'll have their cell phones. So we want to make sure you guys are still kept abreast of what's going on at Princeton. However, if you are subscribed to the blog, you'll receive an email update every time something's posted there. And if there were any reason you might be worried about the safety of your children, if there were some type of emergency situation, the first thing we would do is update the blog letting you know our status. And if you are subscribed, you'll receive an email immediately, even before we begin the phone calls, which is why we do encourage you to sign up for the blog, not only because it's a great way to keep pace with what's going on at Princeton, but so that in an emergency situation, you'll definitely be sure to have the most up-to-date information.
And just to let you guys know, we're actually going to be starting the blogs early this year. We're going to be doing get to know you staff bios every week. So if you want to subscribe to the blog after this parents meeting, you'll get to learn about us. So it's kind of fun.
So we expect 100% participation.
Yes.
Like Tom said, we do have the blog. That's one way of getting the updates, being in contact with the program as a whole. But I mean, there are other ways to get in touch with the staff and anyone else. Get in touch with the program. So the two main ways to do that is to call the HSD office, which the phone information is here, or email hsdinfo@highschooldiplomat.com. Now, and if it's an absolute emergency, Celine Zapolsky's phone number is included in the packet. However, we like to emphasize the fact that it is for emergencies. It's not for, hey, how you doing? Not that type of thing. So we do emphasize that her contact information be used for strictly emergencies. And also, if you're planning on doing any care package type of thing, any type of mailing to Princeton, it does take a long time to process any type of mail at Princeton. So we kind of like to emphasize, if you need to send something, only send it if it's absolutely necessary. Like somebody forgot an inhaler or something for a project. That's something they definitely need. And to send it early and not kind of refrain from sending care packages and that type of thing, because it is only for 10 days and mail, you won't get it back if it gets sent to Princeton and your student doesn't end up receiving it. So
trust me, as a student there, it's mysterious, but mail takes an extra 3 days from what you might expect anywhere else in the country. So only emergencies and only early. So obviously, we're all here comfortably in Northern Virginia. Princeton is about 100 miles to the north. We have to get you guys from here to there. So how that works, we charter a bus every year for our Virginia area students that takes you guys all from Marshall High School. You guys are familiar with it. We've got the data or all the information there if you aren't. And that'll be going up the night before the program actually starts to begin our American orientation. And Alex Zapolsky and Judith Markling, the counselor who you guys will all meet at HSD this summer, will be in charge of that. So you guys will get dropped off there. The bus is leaving at 2:30, so we want you guys to be there by 2 o'clock to allow time for us to get your bags under the car, make sure everyone's there, do a thorough check before the buses actually take off. And then we'll get you guys up. You'll be joined by the rest of the HSD participants who have either flown into the Virginia area the night before or will be flying directly in to New England. And you'll also be meeting all the students from the New England area as well. So once we've got all 40 of you guys assembled at Princeton, that's again the night of the 30th, we'll have our American orientation properly, and I'll be joining you guys. Juwan, our special events coordinator, will be there, and so will Nate Davis, another counselor that you guys will all get the chance to meet later on this summer. And that American orientation is very brief. It's time to go over your presentations, which you'll hear more about later, and also to get to know the rest of the American students before the program really gets rolling with the arrival of the Japanese buses the next day. And then again, the other end of the program, bookended by a trip back down to Northern Virginia. And again, that'll be leaving no later than 10 a.m. On the morning of August 10th, which is the last day of the program. So that morning, all your Japanese roommates will board a bus where they'll take it to JFK Airport in New York City, and they'll be flying back to Japan. And then we'll give you guys some time to gather your things together, shed those last tears, and then jump on a bus back down to Virginia. And again, we can't be certain about these things. As some of you guys know, traffic can be unpredictable, but we're hoping to have you guys back to Marshall High School for the drop-off no later than 3 p.m. But again, we're asking for your flexibility and understanding if we're half an hour later. So.
All right, so I'm going to talk about what classes are like at Princeton a little bit. Every summer, Princeton is generous enough to provide us with their state-of-the-art facilities, faculty, and teachers to make the learning experience at Princeton a pretty special one. Right off the bat, Japanese and American students will be separated into different classes. And as you guys know, we will situate you guys into beginning, intermediate, and seminar classes for the more advanced students based off your language level scores. And more importantly, we really want to encourage you guys to take advantage of this opportunity to not only learn about the Japanese language, but also their culture. I don't think you're going to find this is the traditional classroom setting like you had in high school. This is a very unique experience. You have professors from Princeton University. You're in college classrooms, and you're getting this learning experience I don't think you'll ever get again. So please take advantage of it. And whether it's studying Japanese traditions, origami making, or even tea ceremonies, we hope you guys can use these classes to gain a better understanding of the Japanese culture, and more importantly, use the material you've learned to build a better friendship with your roommate and the other Japanese students.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about a typical day at HSD, and like Michelle and Tom had mentioned, HSD is just a huge amount of fun. So to facilitate that fun, we require waking up kind of early and starting out with a Japanese, what do you call it, like morning warm-up?
Morning exercise.
Yeah, and it's not like, it's not stressful, it's like, it's fun, I liked it. Okay.
It wakes you up.
It
Yeah,
does,
it's
it
great.
does, and then you feel like ready for the day, and it's a very full day. And you also go to bed pretty late, so we are pretty strict about lights out, and we'll be strictly enforced. So, turning lights out eventually. Okay, and so the different things we do, you eat lunch and breakfast and dinner every day at Princeton in their dining halls. And we also have classes, as Alec mentioned, and there are also theme days at Princeton, which Juan will talk about later, but that is what makes up the cultural events that you see mentioned in your page. And there are also program activities, which you might be playing like games with your roommate or other students in your J program. And then curfew and lights out, and you will be wiped out, but so excited when you do Raju Taiso in the morning, and you're all woken up for the next day. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun.
So as Olivia mentioned, every day is a specific theme. And these theme days are one of the longest held and most prized traditions of HSD, and it really makes HSD very, very unique and special. So I'm Juan. I am the special events coordinator for this summer. And what that means is I'm planning all of the events for all of the theme days that will hopefully make up the best 10 days of your life, which is an expression you'll hear repeatedly from all of the staff. So I'm just going to run through all of the theme days. And one big thing of that paragraph up top, what that is talking about is, so all the different theme days, we ask that you bring costumes for not only yourself, but also your roommate. And this is very, very, very important. Your Japanese roommates are flying halfway across the country, trying to pack 3 weeks or so worth of clothes. So we ask the American students to bring costumes for yourself and your roommate. Again, I'm just going to throw this out there right from the very beginning. You will stand out, and it will be weirder if you do not go all out on these costumes. I challenge you to match staff standards. Yeah. We go all out, so I challenge you to try to get on our level. Again, you'll look weirder if you don't go all out. So going through of the theme days, day one is day of arrival. This will be the day after the American orientation, and this is when the Japanese students arrive. It's going to be really exciting. We greet them running from the bus. It's super fun. So that day is no costumes required, just excitement. Day two is the J Spirit Day / pep rally, and this is when we split up into J1 versus J2, and this is kind of friendly competition where you bring your pride for your J program. One thing that we do ask you to bring for this day, and a reminder, is clothes, t-shirts representing your J color. Your program managers will talk more about your color, but J1 is teal and J2 is purple. So find all your teal / purple outfits. Day 3 is Bunka no Hi / Day of Culture, which is one of my favorite days. This day revolves around Japanese culture, and the Japanese students work so hard on not only their presentations, which your J program managers will talk about, but also this entire festival where they share various different aspects of Japanese culture with you, including games, foods, costumes, calligraphy, etc., etc. It's absolutely incredible what they do and what they prepare. Again, no costumes necessary for this day. Day 4 is Country Fair Day, and this day includes line dancing and a bunch of different Country Fair Day booths, etc., etc. This day we ask you to bring 2 white t-shirts, one for yourself and your roommate, because we'll be doing some tie-dyeing. Day 5 is free day / date night, one of the most highly anticipated days of the HSD program. Every Japanese student is paired with an American student. So an American boy with a Japanese girl, American girl with a Japanese boy, vice versa. It's really fun. We dress nice, so we ask you to bring a nice outfit for a date night. We take prom pictures with your date, go to a nice dinner, and we have like a raging dance party. It's very fun. Also, that day is free day, so before date night itself, we let you wander Princeton campus within acceptable boundaries. You get to shop a little bit and try some food in the local area. Following that is day 6, is Diplomat Talks, where students will participate in a variety of panels and activities that will really engage to open up our eyes as global citizens. So this is really focusing on the diplomats part of high school diplomats. And it's a really great day to talk with your roommate, talk with the other Japanese students, see what their opinions are on different international affairs and issues. And it's really, really interesting and exciting day. Day 7 is Rockstar Day / HSD Palooza, where students will be able to unleash their inner rock star. Again, great day to go all out with their costumes. We also do a talent show that is required by all of HSD participants, Japanese and American students, so start thinking about your talent show act. And we also have like a musical recital. So if you are musically talented, which I am not, I encourage you to bring your musical instruments, etc., to Princeton campus if you can. We'll have a musical recital specifically for the students who want to showcase their musical talents. Day 8 is one of the funnest days, most fun days, is Halloween. And though it might be strange to celebrate Halloween at the end of July, mid-August, beginning of August, this is an example of why these theme days are so incredible and so special for the Japanese students. They don't celebrate Halloween, they don't celebrate prom, etc., country fair day in Japan. So this is really their opportunity to experience these specific American cultural events that they're not going to ever be able to experience at their own high school. And they take pictures, develop such great memories that they can share with their other Japanese friends when they go home. So Halloween, another great opportunity to go all out with your costumes. We've had a great variety of costumes in the past. Again, HSC staff kills it for Halloween, so get excited for that. So again, bringing costumes for yourself and your roommate. Day 9 is HSD Olympics, where we have a little mini sports event. We should bring athletic gear, water bottles, running shoes, etc., things that we can run around in. And day 10 is Day of Reflection, and it's the last full day with your roommate and with the program. Again, at the end of this last day, there's going to be a closing ceremony, so we ask you to bring another nice outfit. So 2 semi-nice outfits for the date night and the farewell party. So if you have any questions about costumes, logistical things about theme days, any of the counselors will be happy to answer any questions about that.
Okay, so going into presentations, I want to emphasize that this is one of the only things that we ask you to do as a student, and it's the only structured way that you can share your culture and language, I guess, with the Japanese students. The Japanese students put a lot of effort into these presentations. They work for weeks, they meet with their staff members, as we're going to ask you to do with us as well. And we have, hopefully you've received an email from either Isaac or I about your presentation groups and who all is in them. And that type of thing, but you're asked to give a presentation for roughly 40 to 45 minutes, where each person is approximately 6 to 8 minutes within your group, and you should know which category you're in and everything. And then also, something I want to emphasize about these presentations, it sounds very daunting, it sounds very boring, to be honest, but it's not a lecture type format. We want to try and stay away from that as much as possible. We want to make this interactive, fun, engaging. We want you guys to have fun with it, and also that way that'll project to the Japanese students and they'll also enjoy it. We don't want you to use PowerPoint at all. Actually, you're not allowed to use it for the purposes of this presentation. We want to encourage you to use videos, skits, games, that type of thing, to make it as enjoyable as possible for the students. And let's see what else. Okay, and then just please put a sincere effort into it. Please take them seriously. We do take them seriously as Staff members, we want you to take them seriously as students and just put the most into it so that it comes together well and is a great presentation of whichever topic you'll be presenting for your students.
All right, I'm just going to very briefly go over the 4 different presentation groups that we have. The first is social issues, and that can deal with a variety of topics from environmentalism to bullying in schools to social networking. It's really wherever you want to take it, and that's a really good way to just sort of let Japanese students get in touch with some social issues in America that are really prevalent and that a lot of you all are concerned with in your day-to-day lives. Regional characteristics is exactly what it sounds like. You touch on the regional differences of different areas in America, which I think Japanese students are always very fascinated to learn about because people from the West Coast can be so different from people from the South or the Midwest or the East, and there's so much variety and multiculturalism within the United States. That's something that they always find really fascinating. Education is a really good way to let them know what your day-to-day school life is like, because it's very different from the typical Japanese student's life. A lot of them go to year-round school, go to sex-segregated schools, so there are a lot of differences in the American and Japanese educational systems, and that this just sort of teaches them about what you guys' lives are like as high schoolers in America. American government, you sort of outline the structure and processes of American government and how that functions, as again, it's very different in Japan. They don't have, all of the branches of government in the same legislature, executive branches we have. So that's a good way for them to learn about just our system of government.
Okay, and then as you'll see at the bottom of that page, we also have deadlines that we ask you to meet for the presentation. It's mainly just to keep you guys thinking about the presentation, brainstorming ideas, that sort of thing. On the next page is a few pages later, is the actual breakdown of the groups. And the student that has an asterisk by their name, they're going to be the group leader. So we're going to ask for that student specifically to contact their designated staff member for each of these deadlines. And please note that there's a specific date and time by which you're supposed to report to the staff member. We do take those seriously. Please make sure, write reminders for yourself, whatever you need to do to make sure you meet those deadlines. And so basically, all of the students will just email or in some format communicate their section of their presentation to their group leader, and the group leader will be the only person that contacts, just so it's cleaner and it's easier that way. And also note that the 4th deadline is actually a Skype conference that we're going to do, and we're going to do that to hopefully give more face-to-face type of interaction. If you have any questions, any concerns about materials that you're bringing or anything like that, or just need some advice, we can help provide criticism, help answer questions, and work from there.
Following the presentation groups is a what to bring page, and it's a very long, comprehensive list, so I'm not going to read through it all, but I'm just going to highlight the key things that are really important. Again, please bring your costumes for both yourself and your roommate. This is super, super important because your excitement and enthusiasm comes and shows out in their costumes. Again, this small thing also for your roommate is to bring a small gift. As per Japanese custom, they will probably bring you a small gift as well, so it's nice to have something ready. And this can be something small as pictures of you and your family, a sweater from your high school, a hat from your favorite baseball team, etc. So something small like that is usually a good idea. Laundry facilities are not available over the course of 10 days while you're at Princeton, so you really do need to bring 10 days plus a few extra outfits worth of clothes. As Michelle and Tom mentioned earlier, medication and prescriptions, if you need them, need to be clearly labeled and filled out, and staff will hold on to them and give them to you as needed. Again, small cell phones are not allowed, which I know a lot of us at least use our cell phones as alarm clocks, so it's a really good idea to bring a small alarm clock. You definitely want to bring a camera. You're really going to want to document all the really great memories that you're about to embark on. If you have the extra space, bring sports equipment, frisbees, volleyballs, musical instruments, and again, music is a great way to share culture and just bond with all of your HSD friends that you're about to make. So iPods, MP3 players, boom boxes, if we still use those. And again, things that are not permitted, cell phones, laptops, anything that really hooks up to Wi-Fi or 3G, please leave those at home. Alcohol, tobacco of any kind, any illegal drugs, or improperly marked medication. And again, this is not to rain on anyone's parade, but to really facilitate that roommate relationship and to take advantage of the short 10 days, because they really do fly by.
So now we have come towards the end of our parents' meeting, and you will see on the next page is a list of frequently asked questions. You can take a few moments to glance over that, but we want to open up the floor to you all to ask us any questions that you may have regarding any of the information that we may over, things that might have popped up, things that you're curious about. It's really your time. So does anybody have any questions? That's a great question. We actually do have a presentation from 2 years ago that is on our High School Diplomats YouTube account. And we can actually that's a great idea, we'll put it on the blog, but we can also send an email to you guys all with the link to that
It's
information.
actually also on page 18, at the bottom of page 18.
That's a great question. So at the last page of your packet is your roommate information, which lists your roommate's contact information. And after this meeting, we encourage you guys to reach out to your Japanese roommate. They also, I believe, this week are getting your information as well. And so we encourage you to send them emails, find them on Facebook, Skype. And that's a great question to ask them on like the first couple of emails or exchanges is what size they are. Japanese people typically are very, very petite. So I will say that as a blanket kind of statement. They do go small, medium, large. They do run that way, but when we travel to,
our small is not their small.
but our small is not their small. Yeah, when we went to, I'm sure that when we all went to Japan, we experienced clothing difficulties. I was not able to find any shoes anywhere close to my shoe size. So the sizing is a little bit different there, but I would just encourage you to reach out to them and figure out that information.
And don't worry too much about whether it fits well. I think it's the spirit that is what we're trying to get across. I went to Walmart when my kids were doing it, and I just bought big t-shirts. And please don't feel like you need to spend a lot of money and have complete, elaborate costumes. Less is more. It's just getting into the spirit.
Some of the best costumes I've ever seen are all homemade.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to be thrifty and pick things from home. You would be amazed at some of the ideas that students come up with.
I would try to keep it to one large bag. If you have presentation materials or such that don't fit into the bag, the staff will take them and put them into the bus. But I would try to, I know we're asking you to bring a lot, and at the same time we're telling you not to bring a lot of luggage, but try to limit it to one large bag, and I think the bus driver will appreciate it.
The other thing that I will say is that don't bring a suitcase that you do not mind carrying upstairs, because Princeton does not have elevators. It is a beautiful old building that we're staying in that does not have modern technology, modern amenities. Thank you.
Also on the note of luggage, I know we encourage students to bring instruments and things like that, but please be cautious about that as well. Like all of the luggage gets put under the bus, and so we have to be accommodating to all of the students that are coming in, especially like we have out-of-state students that are coming and staying with families in the area. So we want to be cautious about that as well.
So it's really up to you. Make it the event and date that you want it to be, I would say. But I would keep in mind that Princeton is really hot. It's humid. So you want to wear something that's light and fun. You're going to be doing more dancing in 10 days than you can than is feasible. So I would say stuff that you can like move in, you know.
A little bit moving.
Stuff that you can get down in.
No. So get ready for
Great
that.
question.
We got great bands on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
great
really good
fans.
and they're really great. Use them.
Every room is equipped with 1 to 2 fans, so you will have some light air conditioning.
We're getting you ready for college.
Yeah.
A lot of colleges don't have AC in the freshman dorms.
Yeah.
Also,
We're
just
helping
about the dorms real quick, Princeton Conference Services is nice enough to provide us with the window fans and also towels and bed linen, so you don't need to pack those. You can bring some money. A lot of students like to go to the Princeton University store and get like a sweater of some sort. On free day, you do get to go out and go shopping and go to Panera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing excessive.
We also, I was also going to say before the Japanese students arrive and during American orientation, we do a trip to Wawa, which is the local convenience store in Princeton, and that's a great opportunity to stock your room with snacks for you and your roommate. But I wouldn't bring more than like $40 or $50 for your snacks and things like that.
And on your free day, we actually give you money to buy a meal in the town of Princeton. So it's basically for souvenirs, whatever money you choose to bring.
So you are rooming with your roommate, and we're living in two buildings that are in a nice courtyard, and they're right next to each other. Staff is also in the same buildings. Every room has a room key, which we give to the students that they're responsible for carrying around and holding on to and keeping safe. Most of the rooms are set up in like 2 single rooms where you're living with your roommate with like a suite, but it really depends on like what floor you're on, etc. But most of them are in a suite style.
And also to elaborate on that, all of the Princeton dorms that we're staying in, you need a fob key to enter the dorm. So unless you have the fob key, there's no way to enter the Princeton dorms. And again, that's something that all the students are given and staff is given. And we also have staff on every single floor that the students are on to ensure protection and safety.
And we give them a lanyard that everybody walks around with at all times.
Pretty sure we still all have our own.
Yeah, it's
From
an
our
orange
survey.
Princeton lanyard. And we are in the office Monday through Wednesday, and anytime anybody can contact us with